Hi, Mark here. Just wanted to maybe give you a couple tips on what to do as the hackathon approaches and you and your mates want to get together and select a challenge set and then put your energies towards it. So I want to give you a few tips on this. So as you're forming a team, you're probably thinking about this. Maybe you've done part of this, maybe you've done all of this, but probably first you want to see if there's any of your class mates or friends that you feel comfortable with, or where you share certain goals, or where your timing works out, or you all have an interest in this. And start by indicating who those mates are. Make sure that your student success officer understands, what your team composition is, and who's in there and maybe who's not. Then what you should do when you get together, and I'll help you with this a little bit, is probably look around in your group and identify any common passions or interests that you may have, because that will greatly help you sort of set your sights on a particular challenge set and strive toward that goal, because there's all kinds of different options here, and it might get difficult to pick which one that you really want. And what you have to do for the hackathon is you have to pick one and then go with it, right? It doesn't make any sense to every 6 hours say that you've changed your mind, you want to do a different one now. That's not a path to victory in this case. So you really gotta set your sights on one and then go with it. The other thing is so that maybe the group has a common passion. So an easy one would, let's say you're all Formula One fanatics, and so all right, obviously we're going for this one. But then the next thing that you have to do is you have to assess what kind of talents you have in your team, and you might want to call this a gap analysis or a skill gap analysis, because maybe for your team to really be successful, there might be a skill that's needed or that's lacking, that might tell you, hey, look, we need to recruit somebody in our team, to give ourselves a better chance for really good success. So assess what kind of skills that you have and what kind of skills that you don't have. And if there is something missing, then that's now a great chance to make some new friends, right? And probably what you want to do is, again, through the aid of the student success officers, help to identify post job vacancies, if you like, so that you can find people that can fill in. Now, it could also be that you're going in the solo and you want the help of the student success officer to put you into a team, and they'll be quite willing to do that. But again, you're going to have to probably do the same work, which is to identify what you're passionate about and figure out what sort of skills that you have that you're putting on the table here. So what these things are, that kind of count. This isn't meant to be a comprehensive list, but the kind of skills that you need, and the more of these that you have within your team, the better your team's going to be. There's usually always somebody on a really good team that's a great communicator, and maybe they're great communicator because they can work with the mentors that we have, really do a great job in collecting what the requirements are, really getting a detailed understanding of how things work. Is very good at asking questions, good questions, the right questions, so they can get a deep insight. Also, you want to have a certain level of charm, so that you can, charm the judges and get them to take an interest in you, help you, support you, give you good ideas, and then accommodate those ideas. Also, in communications, we mean presentation is a big part of this, right? So be able to present and have self-confidence. Another type of skill that's really good to have in a team that really makes a difference is project management skills. So this is something that many students learn, and it doesn't really matter what program, because there's projects everywhere. But you understand the kind of skills that you need to sort of keep the goal in sight, and then to manage the scope and the time that you have available, and then use various different techniques. A lot of people say that a hackathon is really like an extreme programming example, and it's a whole microcosm for all the things that you sort of learn about when it comes to the full sort of life cycle of developing a project. And also, if you're going to be using software development, it's a great microcosm for agile. So you can do these with little mini sprints that maybe take 4 hours or something like that. So it's great. You probably need somebody with strong project management skills. Another thing that really counts is the design part. When I say design, I don't mean like system design, I mean the user interface. So the user interface, the user experience, the human-computer interaction part. So this is where people that have skills on that, or people with graphic design skills, etc., can really look at what is this thing going to look like? What is this process going to look like? How are we going to advertise it? How are we going to raise awareness of this? So there's really a strong need for people who have that kind of creative skills. You need business students and system analysis students find that there's plenty opportunity for you here, because you really have to go dive down deep, not just look at the high level description, but really understand what the processes are and how those processes are weak and how they can be improved. So it's all about, business process reengineering or business process analysis, etc. Engineers and / problem solvers have all, of course, they're featured here because it's really all about identifying problems that you want to solve. So there's going to be a big component here, a very important component about that is highly aligned to engineering and problem solving disciplines. Now, you could be a coder, you could be a software developer, and you could be a software engineer. Or you could be an engineer, have nothing to do with software. Coding, many solutions here, or you'll see that there's some solutions here that are really quite aligned to having some software, like an app that's built or a website that's built or something that you do with particular software technology. So, it's often, and very many teams have some need to produce some software at the end of the day, and you might need a coder or developer that it can develop an app or a website or a whole system. And a lot of the challenges involve data. So it's good to have, if you choose one of those, it's good to have somebody that knows how to go about with data. At a very basic, it might be being able to use things like Microsoft Excel. And then as you sort of go through it, it's maybe using some of the really cool products right now from Microsoft, like Power BI, or then going beyond that and understanding, how to use some of the analytics tools, or even getting to artificial intelligence. You'll see that as a keyword in a lot of the challenges. Now, the other thing is, what kind of passion do you have? And so this is another area for you guys as a group to sort of collectively get together. And what is a subject matter that's really sort of interesting to you? We find that in these kind of cause hackathons, once you sort of research the different challenges that are out there, you kind of start to gravitate to something where you say, this is a meaningful one to me. So maybe it's got something to do with corporate social responsibility, and you'll see over and over and more, especially as we come out of the pandemic, how much this whole sort of area and the idea of corporate social responsibility is a business opportunity for you that's going to last. As we start to really do something about our environment and about our climate and make some substantive differences, there are tremendous opportunities for you in all corporations, anywhere, in any field, in any country, to be involved in corporate social responsibility. Maybe what you have a passion for is some of the global causes, and you want to make a difference. So aligned to those, a good place to start would be to understand what the United Nations goals are. So the United Nations SDG, they call it the Sustainability Development Goals. Maybe you want to work close to home. Maybe you say some of these things are too abstract or too global, and you want to do something where you can make a difference in every day, and something that you can notice and feel and share. And so we have awesome opportunities for you to work with cities and municipalities and regional governments that are really active on some cool projects where you can take part. Or maybe you want to align yourself with companies that you take an interest in that are really ambitious about achieving net zero targets. So pick something. Maybe it's a subject matter that interests you. Maybe it's a technology area that interests you. Maybe you're less interested in what the problem is and more interested in being able to use some technology that you have an interest in. So we're working with Google Cloud. We're working with blockchain. We're working with Salesforce. We're working with Esri. Well, these are different technology companies. Some like Esri have an awesome source of living planet data. So, this is geographic information system data for the entire planet that you can use, digest in the systems that you build. Salesforce has a sustainability cloud. A lot of the challenges that we have to do with certifications, etc. You might want to get involved in blockchain. So we have like a Polkadot network and a Kasama network. You might be interested in working with Google Cloud. You might even be interested in working with supercomputers, and we're partnering with SOSIP. So those that have, those that are approaching this more on the technology side might want to align themselves with challenge sets that where some of these technologies are very good fits to help solve that problem. Maybe what's driving you is a passion for a certain type of career or a certain type of job, and you're thinking ahead of having the right things on your resume here, because these hackathons make for great resume additions. You want to have on the hackathon, what hackathon you participated in, that you got, let's say, we have micro credentials for you. So as a participant, fine, but as a winner, you get the micro credentials. And then they're probably going to want to see, what solution did you submit? So if you can create a link to your YouTube video or invite them to your GitHub account to see your code, or see a demo of your code, etc., or see the press article about, you picking up a prize, etc. So you might be thinking of, how is this going to help me to get to the position that I'm looking for? Another thing is the difficulty level. There's all different types of difficulty levels that are here. Some may be inherently, you might need to be a little bit more of a senior student. I'm thinking of some of the challenges that come from, let's say, Roche data science, and others, it really doesn't matter. You can develop a solution if you're in your first year, no programming skills whatsoever. You still be challenged to, do research on what is sustainability and how can it be incorporated into curriculum, etc. So, you can scout through the different challenge sets that are there and find something that is appropriate for the difficulty level or the skill level that you have. We definitely don't want this hackathon to be something where, it's just senior students. We find that really the winners of future hackathons are ones that started, maybe early, and maybe your first time around, it wasn't really such that you won the competition or you made it through the qualifier, but you definitely sort of got the feeling for it. And maybe not winning on your first try, that's usually an incentive for the next time and the next time. So even if you're junior, find something that's suitable for your skill level. Maybe you're not going to win the hackathon, but you'll really start to see how this can make a difference, or how this could align to making sure that you get to where you want to be by the time you graduate from school. Anyways, thanks for your attention here. I hope this helps.